Hello my friends, welcome to a new video. 2024 is coming to an end and I thought I would share with you the best cockpits out there for the beginning of 2025. So when it comes to the wheelstand, well, there is a choice that you have. You can go for a very decent one, a good one, and that one would be the Next Level Racing Wheelstand 2.0. Very stable, very heavy. It comes with a lot of features. You have the shifter holder, the handbrake holder, the little tray for your desk chair that is in it, and also upgradability, it scores well. So you can buy the Next Level Racing seat with it that you can later on attach to this Wheelstand 2.0. Now there are a few downsides about this rig. The first one would be that the tray, it is not so configurable as I would like. So the distance from the seat to the wheelstand is not that configurable. Another thing would be the new price of this wheelstand, €250 that you need to count, which is very, very expensive. But why do I recommend this? It is because there are plenty of these to be found on the second-hand market, and there the retail the price that you will pay is half of the retail price normally. So €120 you can have this Next Level Racing Wheelstand 2.0 second-hand. An alternative would be the Recting 004, is one of the latest wheelstands that I have tested. Also a lot of features, a very, very good configuration also. And there the price is €100, around €100. So if you look at the difference between price of the Next Level Racing and this one, well, €150 less. This is more of the budget option that you would opt for if you just start out. Of course, the downside of it is that the stability, well, it does flex a bit with the wheelbase holder. And I would also say that Recting is a very young company. Their products are very young, so it is difficult to estimate the durability of the wheelstand. For me, the durability is just fine for the wheelstand, but well, it's something that I need to mention nonetheless. A third one would be the Hoplite Wheelstand. GT Pro V2 comes in at €130, so that's still manageable in my in my point of view. It is a relatively stable rig. It does have some features on it also, and it is, I think it is a bit between the Recting and the Wheelstand 2.0. So those three wheelstands are those that I would recommend for the wheelstands. When it comes to innovations for the wheelstand, I don't know if there is a lot that can be done still. So I see the Wheelstand 2.0 very stable with all the features on it. Like I said, the tray itself can be improved, but that you have with the Recting, for example. So yeah, for improvements, I think we are really at the top of the wheelstands. When we look at the foldable rigs, yeah, the market gets a little smaller. So I think you have quite a lot of wheelstands out there, but foldable rigs, complete foldable cockpits, is a lot less. There has been a change. So the Playseat Challenge and the Playseat Challenge X were really my favorites when it came to the foldable rigs for design and stuff like that. But now I have the Recting 301, which is really the best bang for buck that you can get. It has a very small footprint, very user friendly. It has the easiest folding mechanism out there. It is compatible with most of the hardware on the market. Fully compatible, which is very important. It has a lot of features too, and a price of €169, which is a very, very decent price in compared to the competition. Again, here the reputation of Recting. They are still a young company, just the same as I said with the wheelstand. I have not seen that much reports that it breaks. But yeah, well, the products are still new, so there is not a lot of information available. But from what I have tested, and if you watched the review where I did the fall test in the rig, it seems to be very, very decent quality. Something that could be improved also with the racketing is the pedal inclination, so that you can put a bit of an inclination for the pedals that are really straight on, in a straight angle. But that is it. Like I said, alternatives, we have the Playseat Challenge X, Playseat Challenge X, very decent materials. It looks very fashionable with the gray and the blue. I really like the design of the Challenge X a lot, but the price new is horrible in my opinion. The Challenge itself is also a very good alternative, and that is well, it is a very simple mechanism, and on the second-hand market it can be really found for a very decent price, around €100, and you can get a Playseat Challenge. And it is a very decent cockpit. For €100, it is a very decent cockpit, a very storage friendly, very user friendly, but I think there is just, and this is for both the Challenge and the Challenge X, too little innovation that has been done to the foldable cockpits of Playseat. Another alternative would be the Next Level Racing GT Lite Pro. Large player, Next Level Racing, just like Playseat, a very large player, global player. Configuration is quite okay on that one, but well, I would place it just a tier lower than the others that I have mentioned so far. Something for the for improvements that can be done for this category, for the foldable cockpits, would be the mechanism of the wheelbase holder, and to get in and out, it still is too flimsy. It is really too flimsy. So I would love to see a manufacturer that tackles this issue, the flimsiness of the opening and closing mechanism and the wheelbase holder itself. That would be a very, very big improvement in the foldable rigs. When it comes to tubular rigs, well, this is a really big market. A lot of companies offer tubular rigs, different prices, styles and whatever. And this is the tubular rigs. The style is really important, and the footprint. So those two are really important why you choose for a tubular rig and not for something I will talk about later, the extrusion profiles. Here, I don't know if you guys saw the last video, but I did the trophy, the Playseat Trophy versus the Hoplite S8, and in the end the Trophy is my pick to go for if you go for a tubular frame. It has the style, it is hybrid because the pedal base can be turned around, which is good for Formula 1 driving, for example. It is very sturdy. It is the most sturdy basic out of the box that you can get. The dimensions is also very important, very small footprint, and also the weight of it all. I have said it already 1,000 times, but do not underestimate the importance of weight. Just if you want to clean under it, you just pull it away, you clean, you put it back, and you won't have issues with your back. And that is a difference between the Trophy and about all the other tubular frames out there, the weight of it. Global player, like I said before, Playseat, it is you can get it almost everywhere in the world. The thing I like less about it is the wheelbase configuration. So you're a bit stuck with the height of the wheelbase holder, and that is a bit of a shame that has not been tackled. And another thing is the hefty price tag. So 520 to 600 euro. I do think that it is a lot for what you get. The second alternative for the Playseat Trophy, like I said before, Hoplite S8. Really fantastic seat. Amazing bang for buck, that one. Comes in at 500 euro for the standard version. Excellent configuration. Good compatibility, so it is compatible with almost all the wheelbases and pedals out there. It sits good, comfortable, all that you want. So really a very good rig. Why I chose the Trophy above this one, pure personal it would be the trophy is a bit more sturdy out of the box than the S8, and it is yeah, the weight plays a big role, but yeah, Hoplite S8 is as good as the Placey trophy for somebody that really likes to yeah, do GT driving or something. There the S8 it is better than the trophy, so it's really personal choice here. Another alternative would be the Titan, GT Omega Titan, really a 500 euro around for the frame without the seat. It is good in a lot of things, but it doesn't excel in something in particular. So I like it. It is sturdy, it is configurable, it is well finished, it has some options. So yeah, really a good buy also, but it doesn't excel like the other two do. Some innovation that can be done in this segment would be the style and the coloring. I found most tubular rigs to be very boring, lacking of any color. Yeah, the trophy, it does come in another color, but there should be just more colors available. This type of rig is bought for the style, and then I would expect, yeah, color is a large component of style. So I really would love to see more colors in the tubular rigs. Another improvement would be the wheelbase holder. So with the Hoplite, for example, you have the tray that can be put a bit higher and a bit lower, but it's not with a lot of tubular frames that this is possible. So this is an innovation that can be done for the newer tubular rigs that come out. Think about something that you can have to make it a bit higher or lower the wheelbase holder. Yes, and then one thing that I saw with the Corsair cockpits, the integration of extrusion profile peripherals. I mean it like this. So like a shifter holder, for example, for tubular frames, you can't take a shifter holder off Next Level Racing and put it on an Hoplite. That's simply not possible because of the tubing and stuff like that, different diameter. So I would love to see some standard attachment methods on tubular frames. The last category would be the extrusion profile. So here Simex Pro GTRS has been my shoo-shoo. You guys know that when I recommend extrusion profile, Simex Pro GTRS, very good. Is an innovative design for the pedals, the accent colors, the stickers that they give with it. Very small footprint when it stands, but also when they ship it. Very small box, unbelievable. So a very decent rig. Comes in at 429 euro. So definitely it is my shared top one for extrusion profiles. There is the negative side, the availability. So if you are in the UK, forget it, you cannot get the Simex Pro GTRS because I think still they do not ship towards the UK and US, and will be also a bit more difficult to ship. It is possible, but I think the shipment price will be a lot higher. So availability for the GTRS is a bit less, and also the vertical beams. I had an issue with the vertical beams that I thought, for my purpose in my setup, that if I use the C12 on it, that it came a bit too low. This is really personal in my combination that I use with the seat and the wheelbase. So it is not, for most people, it is not really an issue. Then the second tie, the shared first place, but yeah, it's still to be seen a bit, is the TR80 Lite. But the TR80 Lite has been retired and has been replaced by the Track Racer TR40S, which I am testing at this moment. And well, it seems to be amazing. Let's start with the price. It undercuts the other rigs. So the other profile extrusion cost around 400 euro. This one comes in at 300 euro. Amazing. But you say, okay, they skimped on certain stuff. But then you look at the features. very a lot of features. You have the caps that are they have the logo in it. You have the logo printed on a side plate on the front. You have the red accent that you can put in the extrusion slots. It is very stable, unbelievably stable. The footprint very small also, but yeah, it is not that it's exceptional, but very small footprint. Configuration is insane also. So yeah, I really have an issue. Track Racer is a global player, so that is an asset if you compare it to SimX Pro, for example, which is a much smaller European company. I was looking for negative points, but I have not found any yet for the Track Racer 40S, TR40S. I still need to do the review of it. This one will be the first review to be revealed, I think, in the first week of January. But yeah, like I said, this one really is topping the extrusion profile rigs recommendations from my part. Another good alternative would be the GT Omega Prime Lite. It has quite a lot of features with the shifter holder and the full shifter holder frame. Wheelbase holder config is the best that I have had so far, so it is on the fly configurable with the hand screws. Very good. Price is around €400 also. Now this varies between this varies a bit. It can be 450 also, I saw with the Prime Lite, but for €400 is a very good price. I would argue that it is a bit boring to look at, completely black. So that's a bit less, but also a very good alternative. Why no Next Level Racing? Why no SimLab? Well, I think they do not innovate a lot. Those companies, Next Level Racing, it looks like they are innovating, but in that's only in theory, because in practice I find that they change really a little to their setups. And SimLab the same thing. I mean, the GT1 Evo, I don't see that much that changed on it. You can say, of course, yeah, if you have a winning design, don't change it, but yeah, I'm not sure if I look at the competition if they really can keep up like this. So yeah, those two companies, for me, they really need to step up a bit. Some innovations that can be done for the extrusion profiles, I would say the footprint, it is still quite big for these rigs. So to minimize the footprint, perhaps when you are done racing, that you can just fold it in, or for example, another thing would be to make it a bit nicer to look at. I know. Well, I will give an example. I really like the Mercedes G-Wagon. Fantastic. It is like a boxy black thing, which I really like, but not everybody likes it. And that is the problem why a lot of people with spouses choose for a tubular profile, because the tubular profiles are just a bit nicer to look at. And that is something where I think the manufacturers of extrusion profiles need to work on a bit, make it a bit more fashionable so that it is more acceptable for our partners. That is one of the things that I really want to point out. How can you do this? Well, like with the extrusion slot covers of the TR40S, for example, offer them in different colors as a standard, but not too much, but just a few things. The corner brackets, like with the GTRS, make them in a different color, the same as with the extrusion profile covers, so that you have a bit of a difference there, and that it looks a bit more fashionable. You can still opt to have it completely black. I know some people like it, but yeah, for me that is something which is missing. Now, I know there are a lot better rigs out there, but the list that I have are simply the rigs that I have tested, and I really focus more on the budget, the lower end segment. You can have tubular rigs of 1,000 euro, or you can have extrusion profile rigs of 1,500 euro, but those are not in my scope. So yeah, if you tell me in the comments, yeah, this one is better, but it costs 1,200 euro, then okay, it can be better, but it will not be featured in any list or it won't be a recommendation that I can make to you guys out there. If you have any suggestions for rigs that you want me to test, that you want me to look at, leave it in the comments, and I will see what I can do. Thank you all for watching. I hope you had something from this video. Leave a like if you did, subscribe if you want to see more videos. I wish you a very happy new year, and I will see you all in 2025. Bye bye.